if you looked at my Strava this week, you would probably think I had given up. Last week, week 14, ended in a lot of misery with an aborted final long run. This week, what have we got in store? This is week 15 of London Marathon training. Welcome to PKSRUNS. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Paul. This is PKSRUNS. I'm a 2:45 marathoner with 8 days to go until the London Marathon. Last week, my long run ended in failure. I had to abort. Okay, well, this is thoroughly disappointing. I am no more than 1 3/4 miles into my 10-mile effort, and I've had to stop. This week, I have done 12.4 miles of running, but that isn't the whole story. This week has actually been a brilliant week. So what exactly made this week so good? Well, like I said, I've only run 12.4 miles this week. That was broken up over really mainly 2 or 3 mile runs at max. But I have been spending plenty of time on the bike. Yesterday, I did a 2-hour cycle. So replicating a longer workout, but without any of the impact. Hopefully, that is going to have been a beneficial part of my taper. Ordinarily, when you taper, you're looking to drop about 25% of your mileage. I've been doing between 60 and 70 mile weeks consistently throughout the block. So as you can imagine, dropping to 12.4 was never part of the plan. So, today's run. This is really a test. I've got a couple of miles in already, and then I'm going to try just 4 lots of 5 minutes at marathon pace, and having a couple of minutes of rest in between, or rather just a light jog, and we'll see how it feels. Definitely the legs feel a lot more refreshed with a slightly easier week. This week we are also testing out Marathon Day Tech headphones. Now, I've worn these before plenty, but I've never worn them connected directly to my watch. I'm not planning on listening to music. I just want to have pace notifications during the race so that I don't have to keep looking at my watch, and that will keep everything in check for me. The second piece of marathon tech is here on my head. This is the Insta360 Go 3S. It's going to be the camera I'm going to use on race day, clipped to my cap, so that I can capture some footage without having to carry a bulky camera and tripod. Lots of 5 minutes done. They definitely feel hard. Heart rate is right up there. I think I'm within pace. I was definitely ahead of pace in the first one. I think I was okay on the second. In a minute, I'll turn around and head back towards Bridgewater. Now would be a great time to say, if you enjoy watching me suffer, if you enjoy the drama and the jeopardy, please do like and subscribe, hit the bell button, so that you don't miss any more of this, and importantly, you don't miss what happens next week. Okay, that is interval 3 done. Oh, it's hard. Headwind. Big headwind. Again, I don't know what the pace is. Heart rate in the 170s. Definitely fighting out here. But I'm not injured. I haven't stopped. So we're quids in on last week. Got about 80 seconds until we go again for the final time. Oh. The temptation, of course, is to turn around and go with the wind for the final segment, but I won't get that choice next Sunday, so why should I get it now? Well, we got good news, folks. I made it through all 4 of those marathon pace blocks. I don't know what the timings were. We will do a review when we get home, as I have done the last couple of weeks. We'll look at the stats, look at the heart rate, the pace, etc. For now, it's just an easy couple of miles home. I guess by the time I get home, I will have done 7 or 8 miles, which means that at least I would have got 20 miles out of it this week. Those last 2 miles were pretty tough, or rather those last 2 blocks were pretty tough, but given it everything, I think the strategy of running less has worked this week. This coming week we will do the same. It will be a very easy week. Gonna keep the gym going every morning, largely to keep the routine. That's more for my mental health than anything else. It's gonna be about just keeping this week as normal as possible. I won't be putting in a whole lot of effort though, thinking about mobility and very light resistance. Can't believe it is 1 week tomorrow. Extraordinary, what a journey. What a journey. Let's briefly talk about logistics for the weekend so that you know the plan. I'm going to be travelling up to London on the Friday morning with Laura, and I get checked into our hotel, staying just by the Marathon Expo. Going up 2 nights before, largely so that it's just not stressful. I want to be able to just enjoy the Saturday, be able to soak in a bit of the London atmosphere, get to the Marathon Expo, and just reduce all stress. Saturday morning, I'm inviting all of you to my marathon shakeout run, which is going to be starting at Royal Victoria Gardens next to the Excel Centre at 9 AM. So far we've got some local London runners coming, we've got some runners from New York, we've got somebody coming in from Germany, and it's really going to be a very, 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 very slow social run. No more than 20 minutes at the pace of the slowest runner. It's not about trying to run fast, it's just loosening the legs. So I'm super excited about that. You can find the details from my Strava. And then on the Saturday evening, out for some pizza, early night, ready for the big day. And look, at this point, who knows what's going to happen. Just got to get it done. Weather's looking nice, probably a little warmer than we'd hope, but I am due to start, I think, just before 9. So with any luck, all goes to plan, I'll be getting in before midday, when the day will really be starting to warm up, and then I'll be looking forward to cheering other runners through. Oh, it is a bucket list item, I have to say. It'll be great to get this done and finished. Oh. Definitely feeling more confident than last week. My race day shoes have been sat in the garage now for about 5 weeks. I haven't unboxed them, and I think it's time. I feel ready. I'm not going to be any more ready, so I'm looking forward to opening those when I get home. Probably one thing that I've said this at the end of every marathon training block, I'm coming into this a bit too heavy. I'm actually half a stone up on where I was at Loch Ness. Over the course of the marathon, that is going to make quite a difference. One thing I definitely got wrong was in the build before the marathon. I was eating sugar, it was Christmas, and I let the nutrition go completely. So I was starting the marathon training block on the back foot, and quite frankly, marathon training isn't the time to think about losing weight. So post-marathon, there will be a few treats. I think I'm going to give myself a week to enjoy a few things that I've missed, and then I'm going to get back to it. Actually going to do quite a serious cut. I don't want to lose muscle mass, but I am carrying too much fat, and fat is dead weight when you're running at this speed. You're not burning fat when you're running effectively threshold, you're burning glycogen, so fat is completely useless. I know that that's probably going to ruffle a few feathers, always does whenever you mention stuff like weight to non-runners. The initial response is, oh my goodness, you don't need to lose weight, be careful, it's dangerous. But when you're trying to perform at the level at which I want to perform, you can't ignore it. So before we get home and review the data, just a moment of reflection. To think 2 years ago I was running my first marathon, Manchester. I ran 2:59.17, made it into the sub 3 club on my first attempt, which was absolutely thrilling, and I have learned so much since then. I am so much fitter and stronger. This time last year I had a place at the London Marathon, good for age, and I was limping. I had stress fractured my foot and was unable to run for months. I did go up to the marathon to collect my bib and my t-shirt, and honestly, it was one of the saddest days of my life. I cannot tell you how demoralizing that day was. On the Sunday, I couldn't even bring myself to go out and cheer on the runners. I was too sad. And yet here we are, we have made it. It's not been an easy 16 weeks by any means, but we've got through it, and touch wood, we'll make it to the start line next week.
Well, we are back at home and it is time to review the data. I've got my phone here. I've got my activity, not given it a name yet, so let's give it a name. Final tune-up, let's call it that. Went pretty well, I think. Let's put in the details. 4 times 5 mins at marathon pace. And save changes. 11.2 miles, 7:04 average pace. That's not too bad. Right, also just going to have a little drink here. Banana, whole milk, scoop of protein powder, chia seeds, flax seeds. So let's have a look at the data here. Final tune-up. Killer interval workout with 6 times 800 meters at 6. I don't think that actually was what I was trying to do, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We need to change the shoes. We'll do that in a minute. Fitness increased up to 83. I can't remember what we were at last week, but again, doesn't matter. What we're interested in is the workout analysis. That's the bit that we are going to go straight to. So I set my notifications on my watch for every half mile so that I could have a decent kind of look. Really, it helps me to kind of maintain consistency, hearing where I'm at every half mile. So you can see those those warm-up miles. First one was 7:50, then 6:54, 6:48, 6:10, 6:42, 6:38, 6:41, and then bit hard for me to work out. Oh no, those are laps. Okay, so it's supposed to be 5 minutes, so how can I work out the view workout? half a mile. Okay, I can see what's gone on here. Yeah, this doesn't help me at all, because the watch was going off every half a mile. So although I did the intervals, it's just given me the every half a mile pace, which is why it's all confused. But you can see actually that I was hitting some decent paces there. So I'm going to assume that that's the first one that I did, 5:32 for half a mile, then 5:53. The clock would have changed, so that's about an average of 5:45. So that's pretty decent. Then I had a recovery, 0.27 miles. Then I did 0.83 miles, so between 5:52 and 6:07 per mile. So let's call that an average 6-minute mile. So that's again faster than marathon pace. Then I had a little recovery. Then the next lot was 0.8 miles. Let's call that 6:11. So that is slower than marathon pace, going into the headwind. And then the final block was 0.79 miles, which was, I guess, an average of 6:15 and a half. So again, slower than target marathon pace, but not bad. Let's have a look at some of the heart rate data in there, because I think that's going to be interesting to see. Where was my heart rate peaking? 173, 172, 171, 170. So look, that's actually pretty good. Max heart rate's 174. I wasn't completely busting my balls. It felt hard. Things that are going to feel a heck of a lot easier next week will be, firstly, running in a fresh pair of shoes. I'm in the Endorphin Elites today, which, I don't know, I've probably done 150, 200 miles in them. So they're pretty worn out. They're not carrying the speed that they would have done when I took them for the first run at the marathon, actually, in Manchester. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm really, really happy. 11 miles in total. I did get a little second on a segment, 0.84 miles. All time, Luke Prescott. I think that's the guy that was up there a couple of weeks ago as well. So, yeah, look, 5:49 per mile, top 1%. I'm happy with top 1%. So, dumbbell back to there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Hey, I'm the best of the year. That's all that matters. No one's even come close. Let's see. There's Jord. We know Jordan. You've got a bit of work to do, pal. I want to get up there. Anyway, look, close that down. We've tested out this. We've tested out that. We've tested out the headphones. And that's it. A few more easy jogs this week, and then marathon. See you all next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There will be a few other videos this week. Going to look at everything that I'm taking with me, all the gear, all the nutrition. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and Strava at PKSRUNS, and I will see you next week.